Hello guys and welcome back to another random tech video, and today we'll be deploying a personal project on AWS. Although there are many ways to deploy a personal project, but we will specifically look into AWS as it provides a free tier where you can use a small EC2 machine for a year absolutely free. So to get started, you can head over to aws.amazon.com and then create a new AWS account. I have one ready, so I won't be doing that. You can go forward and do it all by yourself. Once you log in into your AWS account, you will find a similar dashboard. Now, today we'll be deploying my personal portfolio, which you can see here is hosted on localhost. Now, from localhost, we have to deploy it onto an EC2 machine. So we'll go forward and click EC2. Once it loads, you can see the number of instances running here is 0. Now, before launching your own instance, I would recommend you to change the location of the machine. So here, as you can see, it's Sydney. Now, go forward, click it, and select the nearest location. I would go with Mumbai because it's preferable to me. Once it loads, you can click on launch instance. Now you have to name your web server. So I'll name it portfolio. And here you have to select the OS which will be running on a machine. So I'll go with AWS Linux, and you can see here it's free as it's written free title eligible. So I'll go with it. And the instance type, when you click on it, you can see only EC2 micro is free. So I'll go with it. I'll select that. Now key pair required, login. So I'll say create a new key pair. I'll name it portfolio AWS. It can be anything. You have to select the pair type. I'll go with RSA and PEM. Now create key pair. This is download, and you have to keep this safe because it will be used to log in into your web server. Here you have to set the network permissions. Now network, okay, subnet is fine, auto assign IP enable, firewall, create security group, and allow HTTPS and HTTP. We have to select these two because we'll be hosting our portfolio there. So these two should be allowed. Now, to increase security, you can change this value if you know your personal Wi-Fi IP, but I would recommend it to be the default value. Now everything looks fine. Checked advanced details, nothing to be changed here. It's fine. Once you have done with all that, you can go ahead and click launch instance. Now you have to wait till the instance is created. Once you can see success here is written, you can go forward and click view all instances. And here your machine is running. Now we have to wait till this changes to running. Once the checks are completed, now we can log in into our web server. In order to log in into a web server, first we need to copy our public IPv4 address, and then we require a tool called MobiXterm. So go on and search for MobiXterm, and you can download it from their website. Once you have downloaded it and installed, it looks something like this. Now click on sessions, go for SSH. In the remote host, enter your public IPv4 address. Go for advanced settings, click use private key, and select the private key.pm file which we downloaded before. Once you have selected the key, click on OK. Now you have to log in. You log in as EC2 user, and you have logged in into the machine. Once you have logged in into the machine, now it's time to install a HTTP web server, which enables whatever the file you host on the machine to be available to the people on internet. Now for that, you can either use Nginx or you can use Apache. I'll prefer Nginx, so I'll install Nginx. Before that, we need to check if the installation library is up to date. For that, you can type in the command sudo yum update. Looks like everything is fine. And in order to install Nginx, you need to type in the command sudo yum install Nginx. Click on Y. So Nginx has been installed onto your machine. The next step would be switch to VS Code and open a terminal and run the command npm run build. Now this command generates the build files which have to be kept onto the machine in order to host them. Once the build command is successful, you can see a new folder has been created, which holds the resources that needs to be hosted onto the machine. So once you're done with this step, you can head back to the machine and look for command sudo systemctl status nginx. Now this command helps us to understand if the nginx server is currently running or not. So here you can see the status is disabled. In order to start the service, we have to type the same command, but in but we have to replace the status with start and click enter and run the status command again. Here you can see success. So we have to head back to our private IP to check if it's running. Okay, that was bad. Here you can see welcome to Nginx. That means your web server is currently running onto the machine. Now we have to replace the files we have in our code base dist folder to the configuration files we have on the machine. So first let's start with tweaking this HTML file. So in order to do that, we need to change the directory to USR. Okay, no such directory exists. Actually, we might need to add a backslash here. So cd backslash USR. Oh yeah, we were able to change the directory. Now cd share slash nginx slash html ls, and here we have the files. Now let's change the context of index.html files. So for that we have to write sudo v index.html. Now I'll change it to something pretty simple. To insert or make changes, press I and start making changes. I'll add a simple h1 element. So h1, okay, h1, I'll say test2 or test1 and close the h1 element. Press escape to exit insert options or insert mode and click colon WQ in order to make changes. Now let's, okay, nothing. Now try refreshing this. Here you can see. So this is the index file which we have to change. So for that, go back to mobextrum and I would say first delete the index.html file itself. Ls. Now you can see there's no index.html file. To go back to the starting directory, you can simply type this command ls. Okay, we are in the main folder. Now we have to bring the contents of dist folder onto the machine. So for that, you can click on this button and select the files. Once you're done, you can see our 3 files are here. Oh, where's the other one? Oh, I guess I was not able to bring in the assets folder. Oh, maybe I need to create a folder, so I can do that with mkdir and assets. It's okay. You have assets folder. Click on cd assets ls. Nothing. So why is this not been updated? Click on this. Select all the files. Okay, now that we have all the files, now we have to replace all the files or the initial index.html with our index.html. So for that, I can simply type sudo mv index.html and the other files such as logo and assets folder 2 slash usr slash share slash nginx slash html ls. You can see it's empty. Now change directory to usr share nginx slash html Let's Here we can see we have the files, and voila, it's running. So we have deployed our code to AWS EC2 machine. Now, in order to attach our domain to the IP, we have to change the DNS settings. So if you currently go to bitsandthepie.com, you can see the older version of this has been hosted. So in order to change it, copy the IP and go on to the provider's website where you have bought the domain. Click on DNS and change the DNS settings. So you'll have a record which has to be changed. Now take your machine's IP and replace it with the newer one. You can exclude HTTPS things. Proxy enabled, anything is fine. Click on save. Give it some time to be refreshed, and okay. Now let's go and check the domain. Oh, it's still referring to the old machine without the changes. Oh, it's been refreshed. So the machine's IP has been mapped to my domain's DNS settings. So here you can see whenever you type synthepari.com, it will redirect to the machine's URL, and the new version of my portfolio has been uploaded. Now you can check it out and click on this YouTube settings and subscribe to 64 Tech Bits. So that's it from my side today, and I hope you like the tutorial and find it helpful. Although AWS mentions that their free tier is available for an year, they only offer 750 hours of free tier, and post that you may need to pay. Hence, if you have a small project or if it's a portfolio website, I recommend you to host them on technologies such as Versal or Netlify, and it's just not worth that amount of money. You can also check out other providers such as Azure or GCP, and if you want videos on it, you may let me know using the comments section. So that's it from my side today, guys. Thank you, take care, and we'll meet in the next video.